He did not sign this letter, and that's why the president's external legal team is aggressively pursuing litigation against the Wall Street Journal, and they will continue to.
That was White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt talking about a birthday card seemingly from President Trump to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
It was all part of a recently released records from Epstein's estate. As Torian Small has been following these developments for us, joining us live now from Washington, D.C.
And Torian, good evening to you. So tell us, what does the birthday letter say and what does it reveal about the relationship between Epstein and Trump?
Yeah, Rick and Nikki, what we saw here in this released birthday letter as part of the Epstein files per se, this was released by the estate of Jeffrey Epstein. This is something that the Trump administration previously said did not exist, which is why they pursued litigation against the Wall Street Journal. It is clearly evident, and in this particular birthday note, it's a typed out greeting or message to Jeffrey Epstein, implying that the two, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, shared this alleged secret. I think what's drawing the most concern from folks is this crude drawing of a woman's body over this letter, and then ultimately the signature of Donald Trump at the bottom of this note. The Trump administration, again, as we heard Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, say, that was not the president's signature. And then in a post to the social media site X, she also showed different variants of the president's signature, saying that this could not be the president's note or any association with this note, saying that the president maintained that he did not sign it. But again, this was released from the estate of Jeffrey Epstein. This was not something that was created by media or, as the White House is alleging, a hoax that Democrats are looking to purport.
So, Torian, the question becomes then, what are the next steps? A lot of questions about whether this is real. Is the House Oversight Committee investigating whether the document is authentic?
Well, Caroline Leavitt today said that she's not opposed, and the White House isn't opposed to bringing in a calligrapher to discern whether or not this could be a fraudulent or forged signature on this letter. Ultimately, though, what we heard from Republicans on Capitol Hill is strong indifference, if not defense, of the president, saying that there's no need for them to pursue this even further, as this is a matter that happened 20 to 22 years ago. That's coming from James Comer, the current chair of the House Oversight Committee. He says his current track here is to continue to release any documents or evidence that that committee obtains from the estate as this investigation, their own investigation, continues. But also concurrently, there's also this discharge petition that has around 216 co-signees in the House, including Republican Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia. They've been pretty defiant when it comes to the president's wishes on this. And again, they're looking for complete transparency. This would compel the full release of the so-called Epstein files if it is passed in Congress. That would take 218 signatures. Right now, they're just about 2 signatures shy for that to happen, Rick and Nikki.
Torian Small live from the White House with the latest. Torian, thank you for your time tonight.